We are live. Welcome in, everybody, to the CarrGuy and SixFan show. This is the season 2 or season 2.1, season 2 point everything's season finale. But I am only half of this equation. I am the SixFan or straight SixFan of the CarrGuy and SixFan show. And that means this guy on the other side of the screen is...
My name is Jason, and my channel is Old Car Auto Guy, where we focus on the day-to-day runnings of my used car dealership here in good old St. Stephen, New Brunswick, Canada, along the East Coast. And welcome to the show. We're very happy to have you guys here. And as we celebrate the kind of season finale and wrap up of 2019 for the CarrGuy and SixFan show.
And so with that, Jason and I have, the whole reason why this show exists, it was kind of an incentive born out of course, the adpocalypse whole hysteria, and that kind of lasted for a while. And we were both on the journey to 1,000 subscribers. So we wanted to, kind of recap where we've been since New Year's. And I think I always go back to, I've started doing this the last two years now. I've done a Happy Tubes year where I just kind of lay out my goals for the year. And I believe I was sitting at, it was like 780 something subscribers. And I said I wanted to double my subscriber count. So that, I think something like 1575 is what I want to get to. I'm only at like 1260. So I still got a ways to go if I want to meet that goal. But by and large, everything else I laid out at the beginning of the year, I accomplished. And so much of what that was success is definitely because of this show. So I can go on and on about kind of individual successes or failures or whatever, but in a kind of a gut check or a real quick little snippet, that's where I wanted to start. Jason, I'll kind of let you fill in some blanks there.
Yeah, and for those who have been watching the CarrGuy and SixFan show for right from its inception, you'll know that Grant and I do share a lot of similarities in the way we think and the cars we like and the different platforms and stuff like that, right down to the shirt Grant's wearing. I've got the exact same thing in my closet upstairs. But anyways, that's another story. If you've been watching us long enough, you'll know that the similarities don't just stop with our likes in cars. Our similarities grow together with wanting to grow our YouTube channel. And also, when we reach certain goals, is to share those goals with you guys. Share any tips and tricks that have gotten us to where we are today, and in hopes that we can help you guys to grow your channels as well, because we started off doing this, like Grant said, as a goal to reach 1,000 subscribers for the two of us. We've met that goal, and we kind of flipped that a bit in season 2 to say, okay, now it's time to see what we can do to help you guys reach your goals. And that's kind of where we kind of turn this into a little bit of a support stream, where we encourage you guys in the chat to make sure that nice, Eric, to make sure that you guys have all the necessary information, the tools that we have to our disposal to help you guys succeed as well. So having said that, if you're in the chat and you've got a YouTube channel, check out some of these guys who are in there as well, because they also likely have YouTube channels, and we want to make sure that you guys are seeing every opportunity for a new channel to succeed, including your own.
Yeah, and so with that, I just wanted to say hello to those who have been able to join so far. So Art Cricket, welcome to the show. Rough Rods, Restos, 50 Magic, and then this is a new one I know to the live chat because I just started following him this week. 68_AMX_LS AMC. Go check him out. He's got a Gremlin project going, as well as his name implies, an LS swapped AMX project. So pretty cool stuff, and I think he'll fit right in with this crowd. The odd body lovers that we are. Eric, you've been kind of a long-time listener, first-time caller for a long time here, and then Dirty Garage Mods as well. So welcome everybody. We appreciate you spending some time with us here on a Thursday night. And like Jason said, we want to help you guys grow as well. And so the other half of what this show is going to be about tonight, this is kind of a special episode, special edition, being the last one of season 2 till we fire back up. I think it's going to be, January 8th is going to be the start of season 3. But kind of before we do that, the second half of this show is going to be a question and answer session. So start thinking of some questions. We fielded a few or collected a few from Twitter and Instagram. So we will get into that at the end. But Jason, I guess where I want to start, and since we're talking about recap in 2019, I know we still have a month left, a little over a month left of 2019, and we can still make things out of this year. I guess we'll just start with the 1,000 subscriber thing. What kind of weight was lifted off of your shoulders when you finally hit that 1K mark?
Well, it was first of all, it was a long road to get there, and a lot of guys will tell you your first 1,000 subscribers are your hardest, and I would tend to agree with that. When you start off small and you're in your single digits, and then you get to that 10 subscribers, and you're like, woohoo! 10 turns into 100, and then all of a sudden, you're just rolling along. Every single subscriber matters, and every subscriber counts. Although depending on who you talk to, they'll tell you the subscriber number doesn't really mean anything. But setting that goal of 1,000 to me basically meant if I can get to 1,000, I can get to 10,000. Yeah, so getting to the 1,000 mark was definitely a huge weight lifted, and definitely a reason for celebration. And I'm glad that we got to share that right here on the CarrGuys SixFan show. So, Grant, I know that when you got there, it seemed to be a little bit more of a momentous occasion for you because you certainly have been on YouTube a lot longer than I have, and you've been chasing after that remonetization for such a long time since it changed a few years ago. So why don't you tell the guys how it you reacted to that and what it did for you?
Well, I mean, I think having tasted the sweet nectar of AdSense revenue before, I think it was definitely, it was a grind and it was a struggle and everything. But to get there, it was great. But since then, what I've noticed is I feel like whatever the AdSense rates are now are definitely different than what they used to be, because I feel like I was before I so when they announced it, I bought my new camera because I was going to project out to basically make like $400 over the course of a year. So it's like $100 every quarter. And it seems like now, ever since, because it was like right around June 1st, I think I got remonetized, and uh, I don't know if I'm going to hit the $200 mark before the end of the year. So I don't know. It seems a little bit like I don't know. I'm not complaining by any stretch of imagination, but it just makes me wonder what's like my most popular video, my lifted Jeep video. I just think of all the tens of thousands of views I missed out on, collecting some money on, for that. I want to say that, let's see, that was like a 14-month stretch. And that video right now has like 65,000 views, and I think maybe it had 20,000 when I lost it. So that's the only disappointing thing, but it is what it is. Like, we'll only move forward, like you say, focus on the windshield, not the rearview mirror. So the other thing, I think, though, the plus side of that was that it made me figure out how to create revenue in other forms, like the associates program, Amazon Associates, and then like kicking me in the hind parts to really do my T-shirt sales and stuff too. But I don't know what. Yo, sorry. Go ahead. You look like you had something you're gonna say.
No, I was just going to say, like you said, if you can't dwell on the past on some of the things that woulda, shoulda, coulda, but at the end of the day, the ultimate goal, like for instance for you with your lifted Jeep video, is essentially to make that next lifted Jeep video, make that next popular video that's going to give you those, 40, 50, 60, 100,000 views, which I commend you for that because I still don't have a video that's crested. I guess my intro video that I had there for a while last year got up over, I think, 16,000, but I still don't have a video that's really kind of breaking away. And when we blew up Project Bubbles about a month ago and getting to release that video, that was kind of a big relief for me as well, in hopes that that video would or could be the one that kind of gets my channel out into more eyes to see. So that hasn't happened yet either.
Well, my first video that blew up was my Rat Rod Radio Flyer when it finally drove video, and it's funny. Like maybe I should in the meantime, I'll try to maybe bring up I can do a screen share, but I want to figure out. I still haven't, can't to this day figure out. It blew up just one day. Like I mean, it's the highest spike on my like history of analytics, and I don't know who shared it on what website, but I mean, there was like October 20th of 20, I don't know, 16 or something. It just, I mean, it's ridiculous. So you never know, like when your moment's gonna happen, but I know we're deviating from our normal kind of format, but as you were talking about that, Jason, it kind of it did remind me of a tip and trick I wanted to throw out the past couple of weeks, one I learned from somebody else's show, but it's basically the idea of, I call it like playlist jujitsu. So we all have whatever, no matter where we're at, we have a video that's our best, right? And if we all have playlists, the guy suggested like what you're trying to do is help along the algorithm, or because YouTube's got this crazy algorithm that's trying to find things for suggested videos and trying to connect dots, if you will. It's working in the background. So find the second most popular video on your playlist of your most popular one and start to link the crap out of the second most popular one to the most popular one. So like put it in your end screen, put a card of it in, even in your description somehow, like figure out how to tie together. If it's in a playlist, that should already be associated some way anyway. So that's one that I've really started to try to do, and I'm starting to see some returns on that as well. Because like I lifted Jeep video, I have like a video on how to fold over your pinch weld, which is literally just hammer the shit out of the thing. But it's because it's related to that video. People are like, oh, he talked about make sure you clearance your pinch weld, and so. I've got, I think, 5 videos now over 10,000 views, and like that was just crazy because it's like those 5 videos are more than half of my total views for my whole channel. But.
Well, and I think too, like as you grow with your channel, no matter whether you're just starting today or you've started a year ago or 10 years ago, there's so much to be learned all the time with YouTube, because YouTube is constantly changing, constantly evolving, which means you have to do the same thing. So when you can go back and take some of the tricks that you've learned, whether it's tagging or titling or linking, like you just said, and apply that to some of your very earlier videos. As crappy as you might think they are, someone's going to look at it and someone's going to like it, right? So at the end of the day, you can start linking, you can start using all these tricks you're learning throughout throughout your time on YouTube, and start using that information on some of your older videos back when you were making them. You didn't know what the heck you were doing.
And that's exactly why I'm glad someone like 68 AMX has been able to drop in, even though this is the season finale for season 2, is hopefully you're getting some value out of kind of what we have to offer here. And like, none of us are experts, but we all have experience in some way, shape, or form. And so, just especially where he's at as a channel, like that first 20 subscribers, it's so tough to just keep trudging through. But that's why we try to, again, I only have like less than 1,300 subscribers. So that's not even, and that's taken me almost 5 years to accumulate that. So it's not even that impressive at all. But of 5 years of experience, I feel like I can offer quite a bit to someone like that. So we're happy to have you here in the live chat.
Well, and as another shameless plug for the CarrGuy and SixFan show, we still have all of season 1 as well as the beginning of season 2. You can go back and watch some of those videos and see some of those people that are in there, some of the new channels. We always are offering tips and tricks. We're also shouting out some of the smaller channels who also need help growing, that you can kind of link in there and hook up with those guys as well. So guys, if you're in the chat right now, I see SNR Motoring has just joined us as well. But if you're in the chat and you haven't jumped on board 68 AMX, who is there, go check out his channel. You never know. It just might be something that you're into, and help him grow. If we can, double his subscription count tonight, I think he'd be pretty amazed, and to know exactly what it is that we do here in order to help people grow. I'm not saying go over and subscribe. I'm saying go over, watch what he's got. If you like it, then consider hitting that subscribe button.
Absolutely, and I think because SNR Motoring just dropped in, this is a perfect segue into what you were talking about. If you watch, so if someone who's brand new to the show, like 68 AMX, and you go back and you watch all of season one and all of season two, that playlist, you'll see a channel like SNR Motoring, who I know they have time and time again talked about how much they appreciate having this show here and it's helped them grow. And they're another success story where they've gone. I think they were probably in the 600s when we started season one, and they hit their 1,000 subscriber mark um, sometime between the New Year's and now. So anyway, um, that's that. We've kind of. I know we didn't necessarily get into any more specifics on what's happened through the year. I've got my little book here of goals and things. But Jason and I, before the show, decided we were going to kind of split the show up in half, and we were going to do year-end recap for the first half. So we kind of want to move on to the second half of the show, which is going to be more Q&A. But before we do that, kind of in line with our typical format, we did kind of want to talk about some channel updates. So Jason, I'll let you start there. What kind of a channel update you want to kind of throw out there of what to expect before 2019 closes out?
Well, something that is going to be hopefully coming to the channel in the very near future, and we're hoping like maybe I'm not sure if it'll happen like right away, but we're talking like 2020 likely in the early months. That I want to I want to take the opportunity to find a major project for the channel, not just like Project Grandma where I just go buy something and dabble with it here and there, and not like the new Grey Goose, which is the Volkswagen project. Those are just fun little things that just are content for the channel. I want to find a major project vehicle. I want to do a budget build on it, but at the end of the day, it's going to be something everybody in the chat can appreciate, and that everyone is going to want to tune into. So I've thought long and hard about where the direction of my channel is going to go in the future. I still want to focus it around the car dealership, but I more want to focus it on projects than I do the actual dealership itself, because I do know that just looking at my analytics from when I do like lot updates and when I talk about things around the lot and this and that, there's not as much interest in those as there is when I'm doing projects on like Project Bubbles or the Volkswagen or Grandma. People like to see that stuff, and if that's what they want, then I have to, like I said earlier, I have to evolve. So I want to find a major project. This is a bit of a teaser because I know what I want, but I'm not telling you guys yet. You'll have to tune in to Old Car Auto Guy in the future and pay attention to what's going to be happening on that channel. So major project coming to the channel, hopefully sometime in early 2020. Grant, I noticed that Eric had asked you what your next project is after the Fairmont, and I'm sure that's probably the furthest thing from your mind at the moment. But at the end of the day, you must have put a little bit of thought into something for a future project.
Yeah, well, I did actually. I typed that into our little agenda. I was going to throw that in with the Q&A. But yeah, so I've got a bunch of small projects planned for. It's a trick question because what he means by after the Fairmont's done, the Fairmont's not going to be done until probably springtime. Based on the things I want to do to it. As we all know, if I get through this stupid brake issue, I just want to drive the thing and enjoy it for a while. I don't want to take up my garage bay through the rest of the winter when it's super cold out and things like that. So I'm going to do my head swap in the spring. But so I've got a list of little projects to get me in between whenever I'm done with the brakes to that point in time, which I want to rebuild the motor on my Rat Rod radio flyer because I've got a billet connecting rod that I want to remove the governor, put the billet connecting rod in on that. I've got I still have my 500 subscriber giveaway that I teased a long time ago. So, in fact, I might actually start working on that on Sunday, based on the availability of my buddy Mike, who was going to help me with my brakes. So, if he's not available, I'm just going to move on and do a small project like that. I've got some miscellaneous projects like that lined up. So, um, anyway, that I kind of blabbed on there. But if you're talking about what car am I going to get after the Fairmont, because I do want to probably sell it next summer, that's all just going to be market driven. So, I mean, I could speculate a ton, but it's going to be based on dollar signs. And, I want to find a car just like Project Low Fairmont that's in good shape, that I don't have to do body work for, that I can drive home because I don't have a truck and trailer. So, things like that.
And SNR Motoring just piped in there and said, will it ever be done though? And that's exactly what project cars are to a point, and they're never done until you either you park it out in the woods and you burn it, or you sell it. So at one point or another, you got to make that decision on whether or not it's something that you want to continue with. I mean, you guys know that I've got the Chrysler Cordoba. I bought that car in 1995. Okay. I still have it. So no, the projects are never done. It's how much time, effort you're willing to put into them. I've got lots of little things left to do that. I mean, shoot, I've been talking about putting air conditioning and cruise control on that thing for 4 years now, and I haven't done it. So no, to answer your question, they're never done.
Welcome Novitaz to the live stream. It sounds like YouTube reminded you 20 minutes late. Yeah, that's too bad. That is also why Jason and I try to keep a consistent time with the show, just so we don't, so when YouTube fails, maybe your memory doesn't fail. I don't know, but I understand why you would rely on it, because I'm bad at keeping appointments myself. So, but anyway, so channel update. I mean, that essentially does my channel update for me, I guess. That question did of Eric's. Yeah, I am. I might have something out tomorrow. Actually, I was trying to, since I took a little time off, trying to, with the new startup, throwing my last video out yesterday, just kind of have some momentum of 3 days in a row having something out. But we'll see. I've got it somewhat edited. I don't know how happy I am with it. I might put it out. I might not. We'll see. But
Well, having talked about our channel updates, and like I said, we are kind of operating a little bit off of our normal schedule, and we wanted to dedicate some time to you guys and your questions for us. So we're going to go to that now, and we've taken some of these questions off of Twitter as well as Instagram. And the first question went, I believe, to Grant from Novitaz, who asks your favorite build of yours on your channel or someone else's.
yeah, this was a really good question. I thought kind of long and hard about it. I kind of have two different ways to go with it, since I couldn't settle on one. But the first one is I'm kind of lumping together. There's a lot of second generation Camaro guys out there that have some really impressive builds, and all for very different reasons. But Double R Restorations, Russ over there, he's just insane with Project Overkill. And ASIC Eric is doing a 77 Nova with, I think, an LS3 in it. And just the attention to detail he's been blown away by. And then Sam's Garage is another one who it's just weird. It feels like a graduating class of high school. Like those three projects are so similar, so together, and they're so impressive, but for very different reasons. And you guys know me, I'm a Ford guy. I don't know why, but I love all three of those builds. That's one. The other one is there's a couple international rat rod trucks that, like, some of these channels, I mean, those are the only videos they posted, and they're now probably like 7 years old, some of them. And one guy has like 3 videos, and the other guy has like 7. But I'll leave a link to those builds in the description below after the show, if you're really interested after watching the replay. So, with that, Dirty Garage Mods via Instagram asks you, Jason, will you link his channel in the description of your videos and give a shout out to Dirty Garage Mods on the spot?
Yeah, no kidding, right? So here we go. Dirty Garage Mods, here's your shout out, because we're talking about you right now. So there's part one, but part two is, will I put your channel link in the description of my videos? My short answer to that would be I certainly would. The the first part of that would be, you know, shout outs and help don't necessarily come free. So, we want to make sure that we're helping each other. So if you want to get together with me on Instagram, like on a DM, we'll talk about some sort of a little collaboration of something that we can do to help each other out. And maybe there's something that I can do more than just putting your channel name in my description, because a lot of people don't even read descriptions. Maybe there's something that you can do on your end to help me out too, because that's what we're all about. We're about helping each other out. So I think that that's a pretty good way of answering that question is yes, I would do that. But let's do something together that's going to benefit both of us. So as we move on to the next question, we've got a question from MHF Tractor, and he's asking Grant, when are you doing the next YouTube meetup weekend, and where will that destination be?
So originally, after so Tube 66 was by and large a flop. I didn't meet any YouTubers with that trip, which was a shame, just because, well, like take for instance, Juan Hinosa, who visited me. He made it up for it. It was like work schedules were conflicting, but I had so many people tell me, yeah, I'm excited about this. This sounds like a good idea. Then people bailed on me, and then I upload the videos like, oh, that looked like a really good time, and it's like, well, I mean, you could have come, and I felt like I gave enough update. So I was planning or thinking about doing something that kind of maybe got us towards Kyle in Rust Belt Mechanic, kind of going through there's a big group of people, it seems like, between Pennsylvania, Kentucky, and Indiana, like Spider Garage, that seemed like that was the logical next place to go, is head that direction somehow, where it might be a middle ground for people. But then when Hot Rod Power Tour released their dates here last week, I started looking at that and thinking, you know what, I'm still going to have the Fairmont by then, and I think instead of doing a YouTuber meetup, I think it's more likely if I head that direction, it will be via Hot Rod Power Tour. So nothing on the books, but that doesn't mean things can't change. MHF Tractor, but yeah, that's that.
And I think that's a pretty cool idea, because we always talk about well, actually, when you and I first met, Grant, one of the things that we had mentioned is we thought that somewhere in Ohio was the halfway point between you and I, and we're looking at Hot Rod Power Tour, not too far off that beaten path this year, and what an opportunity it would be for both of us to meet, A, for the first time in person, but B, with our cars, and C, on the Hot Rod Power Tour.
Yeah,
I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, well, and I know Jason and I have been talking about. Well, my wife and I are going to do a trip to New England next year sometime. It may or may not be paired with a trip to Iceland, but so there's already plans. We've got a couple different trips planned out, and that's like, Jason was talking about 2020 SEMA. That's where, I mean, when 2020 hits, probably just kind of sit down, put it all on paper, because I can tell you right now, I can't make all of those happen. So it's we're just gonna have to see. So we'll go to the next question, and I think this one is a good one for you, Jason. Actually, it comes from Art Cricket via the chat. He asks, "How do you know when you've succeeded on YouTube?"
I'll let you know when I get there. I guess the smart answer would be, I think if you're dedicated and you're making some decent content and people that people want to watch, all it takes is one video. And if you know what you're doing, you have a little bit of confidence and a little bit of editing skills, I think anybody can put something together and call it a success. Where does that line get drawn in the sand between not succeeding and succeeding? I have no idea. I don't know if that's at 10,000 subscribers or 100,000 or a million. But at any rate, there's several guys out there who are succeeding at YouTube with a lot lower subscribers than guys who are, not putting out very good content with 1 million subscribers. So I'm not sure I can answer that other than to say, just, if you're inclined to put out some good content and something that's entertaining, like I said, all it takes is one video, and keep plugging away at it. So I find that one a really hard one to answer, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's a moving target. Like what? Don't know what success means from one person to the next person. So it could mean a myriad of different things. But I did want to respond a little bit to earlier in the or in this live stream, Jason. You talked about how some people will tell you that subscription counts don't really mean anything. It's more about the views and stuff, which I, in principle, agree to. But what I don't understand is why YouTube then, they only give away their platinum and silver plaque things, the little
Exactly.
YouTube thing, when you hit a certain subscriber count. So it seems like they're talking out of both sides of their mouth a little bit on that one, to some degree. So, but it is what it is.
Well, and not only with the big plaques, it's also with the monetization. They want you to reach a certain subscriber goal to get there. So, anyways, yeah, I get where you're coming from with that. They're saying one thing, but they're also saying another at the same time.
Yeah, we're going
And
to reward you
Impact's
when you hit.
Garage and Gaming has joined.
I was just gonna say, it's like, hey,
Sorry.
they're like, hey, we're gonna recognize you and acknowledge you when you hit certain subscriber amounts. Like, we're gonna make a big deal out of it for you. It doesn't matter though. Don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, I was going to say that Impact's Garage and Gaming has joined in. Thank you for jumping in there. Hammer Down Motorsports. Hey, Steve, how's it going? Um, we are really, guys. We're kind of in overtime right now. I don't know how long we plan to go with the season finale episode, but we are getting close to the end, I believe. And we wanted to take a minute or two to thank some of the special guests that we've had be a part of our show here on season 2. And Grant, you can talk about the first two if you want, and give them thanks there.
Yeah, I'll do that, and I may actually have to go pull something out of the oven, so that'll be perfect timing for you to talk about the other two. But we try to do, of course, as you guys know, if you've been following along season 2, how Jason and I did a poor job of planning for when Hangouts on Air went away. So we had lofty goals with season 2 to, at the end of the final Thursday of each month, to do a special interview. So like that was going to be a new initiative for season 2. So unfortunately, we only had 4 guests over the course of the year. We didn't get as many as we'd like, but we started off with the Miniac. Zach Ingalls wanted to say thanks for, he drove 20 miles to my house, and we had him in studio, if you will. So he was the first guest we had. And then, of course, big friend of the program, Corey Pratt of Craving Cars. Not only did he show up to do a similar in-person highlight and interview, but he was the special insider last week, live from SEMA. So, Corey, thank you so much. That was such an added benefit and value added to last week's show. With that, I'm going to go pull a pork loin out of the oven. And Jason, take it away.
Yeah, so the other couple of guests that we had is Josh Schneider, who is Schneidertron 3000 on YouTube, a fairly good sized channel. Took his time out to come join us and be a part of the show and answer a few of your questions, as well as make sure you guys had some tips to take away from some of his success on YouTube. And Josh is a pretty cool guy. He's pretty down to earth. Believe it or not, despite what you see on camera, a little bit shy. But Josh, when you do get around to watching this, I want to thank you personally for being a part of the CarrGuy and SixFan show, and also to Ron Brock. And you guys would know him as currently the Master Apprentice, but also known as Captain Ron, and occasionally as Dirty Old Ron. And Ron helped us get to this point of being on StreamYard, and allowed us to be able to continue on with the CarrGuy and SixFan show without having to make too many different changes, and be able to continue with the success of the show. So, one more time, we want to thank Zach Ingalls, Corey Pratt, Josh Schneider, and Captain Ron for really coming through and being a part of the CarrGuy and SixFan show for season 2. And we do have a few special guests that we've talked about to bring in for possibly season 3 that may even be bigger and better than some of these guys. Not that these guys aren't great, but that would be better to help us all to grow our channel.
And I did want to just comment, if you hadn't already, Jason, Hammer Down Motorsports. We always love it when a channel of your size makes it into the chat. We feel like we get a little extra street cred because of that. And, kind of pun intended. We did, I think, hit about 19 in here at one time. So that's a pretty good number for us. We've been in the 20s maybe once or twice, and we spiked way up to 42 when Rust Belt Mechanic was on one time. But guys, it's been an excellent ride. We've enjoyed having the company. Jason and I, we just kind of, I came up with this idea in January, and it made sense for the both of us, and we just continue to roll with it. And it's just been a rewarding experience. I feel like we've gotten to know you guys a lot better. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you guys for coming along week after week. We wouldn't do it if it wasn't for you guys. So. But it looks like we had a couple other questions roll in. Jason, I guess we'll kind of wrap up with those, and then we can kind of put a bow on this thing.
Yeah, for sure. I see that 50 Magic has asked if there's any tips for somebody who has no clue. My suggestion is if you really are starting from scratch and you want to do something big, on YouTube, then go back and watch our season 1 and season 2 from the beginning. There's lots of neat stuff in there that you can learn from. Also, on all of my channels, or sorry, on all of my videos, in the description box, if you scroll way down to the bottom, there's 2 channels listed, which is Creator Fundamentals as well as Pusa Studios. Those guys are full of knowledge on all the ins and outs that YouTube has to offer. And I encourage you to go follow them and be a part of their live streams when they go live as well, because they can teach you a ton. That's where I get a lot of mine. And, I hope that it's a success for you. In the meantime, we just ask that you continue to keep in touch with Grant and I. Reach out to us on Instagram or on Twitter, and we're more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. We could go on here all night, guys, and talk and answer questions. But if you do have anything else that you want us to answer, don't hesitate to reach out to us. You know how to get a hold of us. We are going to draw this show to a close at 7 minutes and a half in overtime. So thanks for watching. Thanks for a successful season 2. We will see you guys on the CarrGuy and SixFan show in 2020. Stay focused on the windshield, not the rearview mirror, guys. We'll see you later.